Hey everybody, and welcome to Tribal Trades. I've got another great video for you today. I want to thank you everybody for all the amazing fairly new channel, well, it's a brand new channel, all the likes, the comments, all those who have subscribed. So grateful. And if you haven't subscribed, there's a subscribe button there. I would appreciate all the new subscriptions that have come in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, I'm trying to get back to as many as the comments as I can, as quickly as I can. So thank you for your patience. And I do love and enjoy reading and responding to all the comments there. Thank you so much. There are some links in the description below, some helpful links there for you. Even one of the indicators I'm sharing today, the link is in the description. You can find more information about that if you are interested. So the title of my video is the Bitcoin $500 range. No, it's not a typo, and no, Bitcoin is not in the $500 range. Let me explain. If I go to the news article, Michael Pizzino, I was reading this morning on Twitter, and the daily range in Bitcoin dropped below 500 for the first time since January. Back then, Bitcoin was still trading under $42,000. The last three times volatility was this low, all led to major trend continuation. Let's see what happens this time. So as you can see here, what he is basically saying is no, Bitcoin is not dropped below 500, but on the daily time frame, it's trading in a small range of below less than $500. So it's just not dropping very much and not going up very much. It's just kind of going sideways there in a very small, tight range. And whenever this has happened in the past, we've seen it there with low volatility, upside, big upside, low volatility, upside, low volatility, upside, low volatility again. Will we see a jump to the upside? And if so, when will it happen? So we're going to jump into the charts. My head's going to disappear so we can actually see the charts, and we'll have a quick look at the Bitcoin chart here on the daily time frame. And what you can see is that I've drawn a few trend lines here. Now, I am not a trend line trader. For you, I know some people like them, some people don't like them, some people absolutely can't stand them, and some people probably love them. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it here. However, I use a lot of different indicators in Confluence, including the 200 EMA, the 50-day moving average, Lux Algo, which is a paid indicator, the Fibonacci, some volume profile indicators, etc., and a few others, the stochastic and the regular RSI. However, I do notice that we have a bit of a wedge here. We have some trend lines to going down and some trend lines coming up. These are all very subjective. Some people like drawing them more from the top, and don't like anything above it. I see this more as a deviation. So I've drawn mine under, but you could certainly argue that you could bring this up also as well, but I've chosen to do it that way. And then you have one to the bottom. Again, you could go below the wicks here, and I may well do if we get a breakdown below this range, but it still fits under this profile. I might move it down. So if this, then that, that's the kind of trader that I am. You may do it differently, and you're more than welcome to draw your charts how you choose to. I find this works for me and has worked for me very well in the past. As I say, the proof is always in the pudding. I don't know if that's an Aussie saying or also is here in America. I've been here long enough, I should know, but I just get confused. Okay, so what do we see here? We see that Bitcoin has really hit this, hit it again this morning and rejected. We also have some order blocks here with Lux Algo, and again down here where we saw it pitch out of. And so we've also got some volume here. So there's some support here. And we can also see all the resistance that we have up here that lines up. And there's Confluence in the 50-day moving averages here. So what do I think? And I've also drawn a shorter time frame wedge here. So what do I think about all this? And this is just not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. I think there's a 70% chance we break above this wedge and a 30% chance we break below the wedge. Now, of course, we can stay in this wedge, and looks like we can go as low as around $62,000 and below that we would be breaking out. But I also think we could wick down here and have a little bit of a deviation below the range here, just like we did over here. We could have one over here as well. The 50-day moving average is here, and that's sitting at around $65,000. There's going to be some nice support there, in my opinion. And we have recently, well, not recently, but we have broken over the 50-day moving average back in the middle of May, so probably a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I guess it's recently, and so therefore we have some options here. So the option is it going to stay in the range all the way to the end of this? And of course, you could draw it differently, and it might extend the time or shorten the time depending how you draw it. Again, it's all very subjective. Don't go in the comments, you haven't drawn it correctly. You draw it how you like to draw it and how you see the charts and how you trade. And certainly I've seen different traders draw it different ways, and this is the way that I've drawn it for now. And certainly I may change this if the structure changes. And so I have it coming out around mid-July, a break to the upside or the downside. It could happen before that, and it's definitely going to happen at some point. There is going to be a break. And so what do I think about all this? I think that once we see a break above here, which I think is a more likely scenario, there is some good orders in here. We also saw we got rejected. There's a lot of liquidity here, as you can see, just based around here at the top. And so we've got to decide, okay, once we break above there, I want to see a retest, and then breaking above this order block and break above this over here at about $73,000. So I want to see a clear break and retest above $73,000, which will also be a break and retest above this trend line. And then we got to see what happens as we get to near the all-time high. We've got to break over $74,000. And so we could with trading in such a tight range, we could continue in a tight range and then break up. Once we get above the previous all-time high, I've got 80K inside, so we go into price discovery. We would need a break and a retest of that all-time high. Some daily closes, a weekly close even better above that for confirmation before heading higher. And also if we break down, then obviously we could see a breakdown from here, a retest of the 50-day moving average, a breakdown, a retest of the trend line, and then there's some support, some lower wicking here. So I think 60K is a really important region to hold, I would say right here. If we lose this here, then yeah, it could get a little bit rough. But again, I'm not going to go into that because I personally believe that is a lower percentage of that happening. So how am I trading this? I am trading this via Ethereum, and I have an Ethereum trade that I've been in. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame on Ethereum, and I'll show you how I've been trading this, and then we will close out this video here. And so with Ethereum, the way I've been trading this, you can see, and I actually trade on the 15-minute time frame, but the 1 hour is just a little bit easier to show where I've been able to take profits. So obviously getting into the trade, getting out of the trade, getting into the trade, getting out of the trade, getting into the trade, getting out of the trade, getting into the trade. Just recently getting out of the trade here, actually got back in, got back out. Now I'm back in again here at 3.7, around here. I think 3.765 is where I had an entry, and I also have another buy entry at around about 3,743. Where would be if you want to put a stop loss on this trade. If you're trading leverage, I only trade 3x leverage when I trade. So your stop loss is really, it's a tough one where you want to put it because you have the Ethereum ETF going live, and it's always tough to get stopped back out of a trade, but also you can jump back in again. But I would personally think that if you want to be aggressive tight on your stop loss, you could get down to maybe 3720 or 3700 there, and a stop loss could go in around about that level. You can see this order block here for Lux Algo has shown some good support. There's also the 200-day moving 200 EMA on the 1 hour time frame has shown some pretty good support here as well. If we go to the 4 hour time frame, you can also see, you kind of zoom out, there is a lot of order blocks there where we have gone into and found a fair amount of support as well. So that's also something to that I use. The Lux Algo, I found that to be very helpful in confluence with other trades. But as you can see here, we have maybe 37.22, so maybe 37.20 or even 3700 would be one. So either putting the stop loss under this here at under 37.24, so maybe 37.20, and then you could also put your stop loss here, a less aggressive one, at 3,700. And if you really don't want to be that aggressive because you think Ethereum is going to go and your risk tolerance is high, you could really put it underneath, 36.28. So maybe 36.25 or 36.20. You could put a stop loss there. Now, of course, if you're trading spot, you may not want to use a stop loss because it depends. I go through my 3 buckets to trade in my life-changing gains series. And so you may or may not want to put stop losses on your HODL bag because I don't know when you bought it. So, my average buy was around $1,700. So I've been taking profit on the way up and I didn't have stop losses there because I've already taken all of my original investment and risk capital out. And so currently I don't have stop losses there because I'll just keep holding Ethereum. And if we drop and if we suddenly go into some black swan or bear market, I just see it as a buying opportunity to add to the bags. It's like saying to people, hey, do you have a stop loss on your Bitcoin HODL bag? And people wouldn't. So Ethereum's the second largest coin. The ETF is coming up as well. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And so you've got to set your own risk limits. You've got to know what capital you have to spend and what you have to risk and what you need to take off the table. And so if you need to set a stop loss, those are a couple of the areas that I've given you there. Just a couple of minutes ago, I gave you a couple of stop losses that you could put in play. And again, I've even given you a really less and less aggressive stop loss there as well. Okay, so I hope that helped you today. Just a quick update on the Bitcoin chart and some interesting news there and how that relates to the Bitcoin chart and also the Ethereum trade that I have been taking and that I'm in again currently at around 3765, 3770, somewhere around that line. So let's see how that plays out. And I've set to take profit there at about 38.50 or 38.70, around about that level. If I didn't say that, that's the area that I'm going to be looking to take profit. And then, of course, I'm hoping that we drop down a bit again, and then I can get back in the trade and rinse and repeat. I'll show you all how to do that in my episode of Life Changing Gains, episode 6. So you'll be able to check that out and learn how you can make as much as a few $100s a day with just a few $1,000, just trading with a few $1,000s. So hope you're looking forward to that. If you have any questions or comments, please pop them below. I love to hear from you. Love to hear what you thought about this video today, and all the best. And until the next episode, happy trading.